Round 21 of the ARLA Elite Series would be held at the New York Auto Ring in, well, New York. The Smash Beer Pole Award would go to Kurt Walker, driver of car number 98. Starting on Walker's outside would be Lucas Sweeney in the 92, which isn't all that surprising considering that Sweeney won the pole at Indianapolis earlier this season. Unfortunately for Kurt Walker, at the end of the first lap he has to dive into the pits, and that's the last we hear of him tonight. For some reason, the 98 would be held in the pits for the entire race. This would hand the lead to Ali Riggs, with Antonio Cristani right behind her. Cristani would then get by Ali Riggs and lead his first lap in ARLA competition. The first caution of the night would fly on lap 5. Watch Travis Keating in the 97. He's going to drift up into Laura Cyrus coming out of the tri-oval. The 97 goes around and sets off a pretty big pileup. Keating and Cyrus almost go over. I see Bobby Porteau in there, Tristan Roberts, Leigh Grill, Lucas Sweeney, Michael White, Kevin Monroe, among others. Charlie Waters took a pretty wild ride as well. Here he is riding behind teammate Dallas Dupree. He's going to dive to the inside to try to get out of the way, but he gets clipped by Bob Steffens, spins the car out. It's hit by Ryan Baldwell and almost flips over. And in a moment, you're going to see Dallas Dupree once again. He almost slams into the 41. Jeb Klinger in the 6 just barely gets by this wreck. Sorry about the clip freezing there. Wreck starts in front of him. He almost runs into the back of Ryan Baldwell. He just nicks the wall a little bit, but doesn't get any damage. Klinger shows the reflexes of drivers 1/3 his age. He is 75 years old. Liz Hebert led on the restart. Vinienzo shoots to the outside, but realizes it would be a bad idea. Then he dives low to try to take the lead away from her. Philip Davidson has been running a blank scheme for the past few weeks to honor his siblings who were killed in a car wreck about a month ago. He would be running pretty well in the early stages of the race, going for, I believe, 3rd. Here is Antonio Cristani in the 48, making a run for the lead once again, showing that his performance in the early stages of the race at Joliet last weekend was no fluke. Cristani is perhaps the best thing that's happened to that 48 team this season. Siam Rossini drove that car for most of this season, failing to qualify for a single race. The team then pulled Rossini out of the car and experimented with a couple of different drivers, and so far Cristani seems to have been the best. Here comes Harry Enola, making it 3 wide for the lead with Lance Andrews and Dale Underwood. Ever since he won at Daytona in his debut in 2007, Enola's been kind of a midfielder. He has had a few bright spots though, even more so than usual this season. He's run up front quite a bit. Next year, he will be driving for Riggs Motorsports in their 159 car. His sponsor, Freedom Missiles, is expected to follow him. Bernie Fellows is stepping out of that 76 car after this race. This is his 3rd event in that car. Scott Morales will drive that car for the remainder of the season and all of 2010. He nearly won Pocono earlier in the season in that 76. The second and final caution of the night would fly on lap 18. I'm going to go through this clip in slow motion. Neji Hyuga drifts up into Vinienzo in the 22. He hooks the 22, turns him into the 34 of Taylor Brillin. Hyuga dives onto the apron, then comes back up onto the track into Antonio Cristani and Liz Hebert. Tough break for the 48 and 31. They were having some pretty good runs tonight. The first wreck of the night was a very similar one. The officials deemed that as a racing incident, but because this occurred in a smaller pack, Neji Hyuga would be called to the hauler. He was already suspended once this season for reckless driving at Boston. DJ Daniels led on the restart with Ali Riggs and Dale Underwood right behind him. There you see Philip Davidson going for 4th. Ali Riggs would then get a run on the 90 and take the lead for herself. Riggs would then proceed to do something you almost never see at these super speedway races, lead 11 straight laps. I am dead serious. No one was able to mount a charge on her. However, it could be argued that the drivers behind her were focused on battling each other much more than catching the 19. Also, as you can see, the lead pack has dispersed quite a bit, making them much less racy. Unfortunately for Riggs, lapped cars would come into play. They come across the 05 Bob Steffens. Riggs is able to get by him without a problem. Then Liz Hebert and Lucas Sweeney are racing each other up ahead. Riggs tries to get by them on the outside, but it doesn't work out. Mike Andrews goes for the lead with Bernie Fellows and Cody Richards right behind him. To say that Riggs was furious with Sweeney is an understatement. She thoroughly cussed out and threatened Sweeney over the next few laps. Her sister Leslie, who got wrecked out of the race earlier, had to come on over the radio and tell her to shut up. The 19 would drop back to 15th, well out of contention for the victory. In the meantime, Cody Richards would assume the lead. His losing streak is just 1 year shorter than James West's was. However, in recent weeks, he has come very close to winning, so that may change soon. Also coming up towards the front would be Hinata Hugo, who came into this race second in points. However, her points rival, Alex Carson, crashed out of the race early, so now she is trying to capitalize on that. But behind the 39, you see the hood of Siju Zhao. MRD Motorsports, the team he drives for, has a shop here in New York. So this is kind of a home track for them, even though their ARLA shop is based in Miami. With just 2 laps left, the 37 takes the lead from Hinata Hugo with the help of Bernie Fellows. But before Fellows could make a charge, he had to dive into the pits for mechanical problems coming to the white flag. Fortunately for the 15-year-old Zhao, this would help disperse the pack a bit. Coming down the back straightaway, Justin Parker and Mario Franchetti are running second and third. However, Brenda Riggs makes a charge for third. Parker is not getting any help here. He is about on the same pace as the 37. And coming off the final turn, Parker is not able to make a charge. Siju Zhao is going to go on to take his second ARLA Elite Series victory. He becomes only the 3rd driver with repeat wins this season. Results and points can be seen in the ARLA section of the EFR forums.